goal over the next hour is to take complexity and make it simple, because that way we can better execute it. In fact, I will tell you, most evaluation systems in healthcare don't work, because most of them are based on competency-based evaluation systems where you can be very competent but still not get results. So today, before you leave, I'm going to show you what I consider a better way to evaluate leadership in healthcare. I think it's a great time to be a leader. I would agree 100%. You know, it's sort of like 4 or 5 years ago being a realtor. 4 or 5 years ago being a realtor, you could be pretty successful being a realtor. Today, only the best realtors are surviving. In times like this, it gets rid of the pretenders and it really creates the contenders. And we're a great time. Our company's real excited about right now because we believe it'll be a chance for us to do much better in this environment, and we've done pretty well. We do have an advantage. We offer a money-back guaranteed, results absolutely guaranteed, or you get your full money back. We're the only company in the country that does this, and we leave it completely up to the organization. So even if you win the Baldrige, even if you get every award and achieve every desired goal, at the end of that agreement, if you want any part of your money up to the full amount, we will give it back. Now, we've been around quite a while, and that's happened 2 times in our entire career. Both times is when a CEO change came immediately almost after we started, and then you have a CEO that might come in with a little bit of a different philosophy. What I'm going to talk to about, and I like this word transparency, and I've learned in transparency, I used to have a slide years ago and it said transparency creates accountability. And I've also believed that we go 2 ways with transparency. It either creates a great accountability or great rationalization. It depends on where we want to go. When we travel the country, almost any organization can have a group of characteristics that they can say ceases them from being successful. When we started working in Miami on how to improve patient care and patients' perception of care, they told us the reason they couldn't have good patient perception of care in Delray, Florida, outside of Miami, was there were too many New Yorkers that had moved into that area. Another hospital told us the reason they couldn't have good care is because they had too many non-English speaking patients. Well, we did a study of what did the non-English speaking, non-English understanding patients, how did they rate their care compared to the English speaking and English understanding patients? We found out the non-English speaking actually thought their care was better. I believe that's because they thought all the communication at the nurse's station was based on clinical outcomes that they were hearing at night. So sometimes we can come up with a different reason for different thoughts. So let me walk you through what I'm going to talk about. It's going to be called execution. I'm going to give you a couple diagnostic tools, and then we're going to walk you through, and I'm going to give you some things that are absolutely not in my book, because we're a moving organization. We have 160 full-time employees. 550 days every month we're in the field, including myself. So we're out in the field all the time. We come from operations. We don't come from anywhere else, but we've had to live in the day-to-day world of operations. We've had to live in worlds where you got 60 or 50 direct reports. Your life is making sure you have the schedule in place. Everybody's showing up. Everybody's doing what they're doing. My favorite quote lately is vision without execution is hallucination. Because it seems like in healthcare, whenever we don't execute, we want to go back and do another vision statement, do another mission exercise, and just study it and plan it a little bit more. Well, I have a free website and for the next 30 days. When I speak, I'm going to bring up tools and techniques that if you go to our website, you would have to buy them. That means that our partner organizations, if you're a partner organization, it means that you have an agreement with us. And if you have an agreement with us, you get access to all our information on the website. However, many of you are not part of our partner organizations. I bring up tools and techniques, and I don't want you to go to our website and say, that son of a gun, he's a bait and switch guy. He got me excited. I went to his website, and he wants to make $39 or $79 or $15, or for some of these tools, $5,100. So for the next 30 days, you can go to that website and you can download every single thing on our website for partners. I'm not concerned you're going to do it because, again, execution is one of the challenges in healthcare. This is called evidence-based leadership. Some years ago, I was speaking on quality at the MGMA, and I was listening to physicians talk about evidence-based medicine. My thought was with evidence-based medicine, as they talked about standardizing better medical care, that we're going to frustrate the heck out of physicians, because we can standardize evidence-based medical care all we want, but if we don't have the systems that go around it, we just frustrate them. We're working with the Cleveland Clinic over improving their OR times. They did a study. 41% of the times that their OR started late, it's because the patient was there, ready to be cut, and the surgeon was not. 39% of the time, the surgeon was there, and the patient was not. Now, when you ask the hospital what's wrong with surgery, they're going to tell you the doctors come late to the case. When you talk to the doctors, they say, why should we get there on time? Because the patient's not ready. So what I bring that up is, how do we align evidence-based leadership with evidence-based medicine? When we signed our agreement with Kaiser Permanente, they sent 200 physicians to my 2-day seminar. I do one every month. I called them hostages. They were told to come listen to me for 2 days. They didn't know where they were going, why they were going, because it was a contract we signed late. I was in LA, and they said, let's take advantage of it. One of the surgeons from Kaiser came up to me after the first break and said, I get this now. It's called clipping instead of shaving. He said, I used to always shave my patients, but today I have them clipped because there's less infections. When we see good research and good evidence, we change our clinical practices to get a better clinical outcome. We have taken that same technique and we call it evidence-based leadership. When you can see the research and the data, you see the outcome, how can you not execute? As a physician, once you see the data, you know that you're going to align your behavior. If you've taken any type of oath, you cannot. Now, unfortunately, in leadership, we struggle with this more than I find physicians. Let me give you an example. I have research that shows that the lower employee turnover, the lower the mortality index acuity adjusted, which means the lower employee turnover you have, the more likely it is that people are going to get better clinical outcomes. I can show you absolute documentation. I spoke recently to a large healthcare system that's got 4 regions. One of the regions was implementing what we recommend, and their turnover was much less than the other regions. Their mortality was much lower than the other regions. So I said to the leaders of the other regions, we know exactly what you can do to lower turnover. And it doesn't have anything to do with money or benefits for this conversation. There's specific behavior that we can implement, yet you're not implementing it. That means that you prefer to have more people die in your region than implement evidence-based leadership. I call that leadership malpractice today, because no longer can we act like these are anecdotal, sound good, cute story. Gee, let's read again about Southwest Airlines or somebody else. Now we have research that can show exactly when you do certain leadership tools and techniques, you will get better clinical outcomes. And that's probably why we're all here. Let me walk you through evidence-based leadership as we've developed it. We find there's 3 main functions of evidence-based leadership. Now, what we spend most of our time in healthcare talking about is aligning processes. That's what we do. We don't have any shortness of aligning processes. How many of you have ever been through CQI and TQM from 1990 to 1995? You can go anywhere and you weren't doing fish charts. We were doing CQM and TQI and all the stuff because it was going to work. I did. Today we call it Six Sigma and Lean. Why will this be any different? And it's not TQI, CQM, Six Sigma, and Lean. In fact, if you go on most Lean blog sites, they comment on my material all the time. The problem isn't standardizing. The problem is execution. We know the process. If you look at electronic medical record, you know, we're going to put all this money in electronic medical record, and I believe electronic medical records improve clinical quality of care. But let's not do what they did with the first bunch of money and misuse it and not execute it well, so we didn't get the result we were planning on getting. What's going to make us any different than the banks when they got their money? It's going to be called, can we execute or can't we? Most healthcare projects come in late, over budget, and don't achieve their desired results. So our problem is usually not what to standardize, and software are acceleration tools, by the way. Software is basically an acceleration tool to help things move quicker and faster. Now, please listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't believe in standardizing and aligning processes. I do. I don't think that's the issue in execution. I think we know exactly, like you said, what to do. When we do it, we're going to get better results. So let's move forward. In order to align processes, we have to align behavior, because that's really what it comes down to. We know if we round every hour and we talk about pain, potty, and positioning, the patient will fall less. We'll reduce falls 50%. We know if we make a phone call to a patient before an appointment, no-shows will drop 70%. We know if we make a discharge phone call and describe somebody's medications, side effects, before they go, once they get home, that we will reduce readmissions to the hospital within 72 hours by 33%. So we literally know the behavior we need to align. So now we're talking about how do we align behavior. And I'm going to go over this with you today. But see, there's a problem between aligning behavior and aligning processes, and I call that the performance gap. When you leave here today, I'm going to walk you through one of the reasons why most initiatives fail. We don't fire enough people in healthcare. We don't talk about that. It's like, oh, but we're in healthcare. We're here not to give up on people. We're here to do whatever we can to be successful. If they fail, it's my fault. I talked to a lady one time. I said, you ever talk to your low performer? She said, I did. I said, what happened? She said, she convinced me that I'm the problem. We don't fire enough people in healthcare. And because we don't fire enough people in healthcare, we allow non-compliance. What we permit, we promote. We will never be excellent until we stop permitting poor performance in healthcare. How many of you have ever inherited in your job somebody that is not meeting performance expectations? You ever notice when we inherit them and somebody complains about them, we tell everybody, we didn't hire them. They were here when we got here. Oh my God, it's the union. They won't let us fire these people, you know. That's not true. Or, you know who we really blame? Human resources. Human resources. Let me give you some statistics. When we look at healthcare around the country, and we do a lot of research, the average supervisor in healthcare supervises 20.8 people. Don't get caught up in the number. Get caught up in these two numbers. The average one says they have 1.7 people that are not meeting performance expectations, and 0.6 has any documentation. There's 60% of the non-performers in healthcare that we are just allowing to take care of people, and we're allowing them to impact employees in a negative way. They suck the life out of their coworkers, and we're allowing them to do it. I'm going to go over how to fire people before you leave. When I walk out of here, I hope you're highly motivated to do that. So now we're going to move to aligning goals. I'm moving to aligning goals. And I'm going to spend most of my time in aligning goals, because I think we have a real issue in healthcare is, number one, we're not good at alignment. Oh, we align on the mission, we sign standards of behavior, we do the values, we align all those types of good feeling things. But I'm going to talk about real execution, and then I'm going to talk about training of leaders. Now, if you look at this overhead, you'll see points. We have developed the first system to evaluate execution. So this is a 100-point system. Now, thank you notes, which get a lot of play in my books, are 2 points. Which means you can write a ton of thank you notes and people feel thanked, but they still don't execute. Okay, where we put most of our points is up front. Do you have the right evaluation system, and do you have the right training?